Much like in episode 7 and 8, I forgot to record a bit explaining my plans at the start of the video. I'm going to find a nether fortress which I can convert into a wither skeleton farm, and then I will use TNT as well as a large amount of manual mining to convert it into a completely spawn-proof area, which I will then make a wither skeleton farm out of. It's going to be quite the build. It did take 10 months after all. Anyway, without further ado, I have a montage to show you. I started this video around day, like 1300, and it's now just about day 1500, day 1490. And I've done some things, a lot of netherrack mining. I'm up to about just under 1 million netherrack mined. And then I decided I would TNT dupe to clear out the rest of the perimeter. And that has gone swimmingly. This is... I didn't actually count it out properly, but I think it should be something like 50 machines. And 8 of them survived one go back and forth duping the TNT. You know, if I was a surgeon and had 8 out of 50, you know, a 16% survival rate, I'd probably get fired. I knew we were probably gonna lose a few. I did not think the carnage would be on this scale. They are, like, all gone. There's a few over here, and then 1 or 2 around the rest of it. So I'm here just to do a quick live section, just to say, well, I'm gonna assess the damage, and then I'm going to scrap all of the resources I can from these, tear all of this stuff down, and I'm gonna do a different style of TNT duper. I'm going to clear out all of this lava down here, and possibly do all of the lava in the whole thing, but I don't know if that'll be necessary just yet. But yeah, this lava was definitely impeding the dupers when, at least the ones that got to it. So I'm gonna clear all of this out, and then I am going to build a different type of TNT duper, where it's just one duper that sweeps, you know, back and forth. And that'll be super slow. I'll probably have to AFK it overnight, possibly for multiple days, just to clear this whole area out. but it should be super reliable, and I won't have to worry about it exploding itself. And the plus side is, even if it does explode itself, it's not nearly as hard to fix. Whereas this, if I wanted to build all of these again, it would take me at least a day. Whereas with that, it would take me like less than an hour to rebuild the machine. So yeah, as you can see, this is a really cool site. It's just not good for building a wither skeleton farm, which is what I'm actually building down here. I'm gonna come back probably tomorrow, because it's pretty late. I mean, it's not bad. Oh, they're mad at me. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I'm gonna assess the damage, scrap all of these, and I'm gonna get to destroying the lava. I did actually have one close call right around here. I was just flying, I was building these dupers, and I was flying back, and I hit like a few walls like that. I hit like a few of those in a row, and was at like 3 or 3.5 hearts. Pretty scary. So I'm still gonna go through with this project. There's just been a little, some technical difficulties. So I'm going to cut to a montage where I am going to hopefully finish the first half of this project. I'll see you on the other side.
Alright, so I have a list prepared of all of this shit that I need to talk about that has happened since my last live recording like this. And the first is to say that throughout this recording, you're going to see some stuff that is out of time, as in it's in the wrong time. Because I finished this project, or this part of the project, on June 21st, and it's now July 13th. I just kept putting off recording this clip. So I'll just be completely disregarding all of that stuff. To state the obvious, and I don't know why I'm building up to it like you didn't see it in the montage, I did it. I bombed the Nether. Yeah, I used a TNT duper design by Raiseworks. Yeah, I used it twice because I needed to bomb what was left after digging out all of the netherrack up top to just build the space for the first duper. And then I had to do another bombing run after I drained all of the lava. And let me tell you, draining the lava was an absolute pain. It was miserable. It was so much more work than I thought it would be. And I was not anticipating it being quick. I actually am kind of dumb, because I got hit with the sunk cost fallacy when I did this project. Because at one point, I wanted to do it without TNT duping. And I chose this area, which actually had quite a lot of lava, but it had less netherrack. So I was thinking I would end up saving time by choosing an area with more lava. And as it turns out, I didn't. For draining the lava, I had two methods I was planning to use. I had one where I would go down to the bottom, place it in a row, just go, like, row by row, placed on the bottom, and then build up like this with scaffolding. That was, you know, bottom to top. And I had another where I would build, you know, just like the flat surface of scaffolding on the top layer, go down a block, and then place another layer, down a block, place another layer. And that was top to bottom. Turns out top to bottom is way faster. I actually timed it, and it was like 2 minutes faster per square of drained lava. Yeah, that's what I did for most of the project. I only did a couple squares bottom to top. So the sand for this project was from basically all my reserves from all of the previous projects in this world. Mainly the sand drop, which I still have a ton of sand left over from. Or, well, still had. I've used most of it at this point. That sand, fortunately did not have to grind for it immediately, though I did end up mining some just to finish off the draining. So I knew I would need more anyway. Had one close call where I placed this block of crying obsidian at the intersection where I'm gonna build the wither skeleton farm. And that almost killed me because I fell from here, and I don't remember, I forget if I was wearing my chestplate or if I just didn't activate my elytra on time. And I landed on that, and I was on, I want to say, like 2.5 hearts, because I was already a little low. So for that TNT duper design, it was by Raiseworks, as I mentioned, and I realized that was super inefficient, but as you saw earlier, when I tried to do it efficiently, it didn't work much better. So, you know, I'd rather slow and steady if it won't destroy itself. Now I'm gonna head back to my spawn area, sort of general area, like Mesa Monument and stuff, and show you my projects over there. By the way, as I mentioned, I made a list of bullet points to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this somewhere. I did not realize when I posted the last video in this series, not my last video overall, that I was basically, like, the entire last half of that video was just me talking after all of the project was after the project was totally done. And that sucked, and I honestly was, like, really bummed out about it, because I didn't notice it while I was making the video, but, like, really, I should have been more critical to look at that and be like, oh wait, most of this video is just yapping. So I want to be more concise in this one, and hopefully I will be. Also, another thing I kind of cursed myself with is that this Nether fortress, the main thing I want to do is get it in the Nether way so I can build the Nembon gold farm above it if I ever want to. Yeah, I ended up making it really far away just trying to find one that had a lot of lava and was in the nether wastes. But anyway, let's go to spawn. Talk about there. So this is my spawn. You can see there are a few things that are different. This bamboo farm was for scaffolding, and it is a design by, let me check. It's a design by Kaimon. I don't know how to spell it. Or how to say it. I can't. I'm out of it. I don't know how to say it. It's fine, but it does what it says on the can. Yeah, it is kind of annoying because you're supposed to fully stop it every time you leave the chunks, and I usually forget to do that. Also, I've had a few instances of the minecarts seemingly duping themselves or erasing themselves. So that's fun. That's awesome. A free minecart. I also built the dumbest thing ever up here, which is not this farm. This farm's fine. I built, wanting to get string for scaffolding, I tried to build a spider farm up here, and it turns out I'm dumb, because I tried to build it like a regular darkroom spawner, just like the super, like, old-school darkroom spawner. Didn't fucking work, so I built this flushing mob farm, which, it's kind of an ancient design, but the specific tutorial I followed was by Mortings. Oh, right, the cactus farm. I completely forgot about this. This was a design by Trilomes. It's really simple. It's just like, yeah, just cactuses. The fences break them, and then they get funneled into these hoppers. It was kind of slow, but I mean, it's a cactus farm. I don't expect it to be crazy efficient. I have emptied it out. But yeah, in terms of progress on the actual project of this build, or on the project over here with the, you know, digging down to ocean level, pretty negligible. Oh, I don't know if I've shown this off yet. I built this shitty auto smelter. It doesn't fucking work. I tried to do it freehand. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna build a better one eventually. And I'm gonna follow the tutorial. I also built this, which is exclusively to smelt glass for the next part of this build. But that's really simple, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that because you can see about all the detail you need. What's next? I had a close call in the end, and it was not my fault at all. So I don't know if this was like a version-specific bug or what, but I had a glitch where I went through the end portal, and when I came out on the other side, I was falling. Now, sometimes you'll get issues where it will seem like it's not rendering, and you're just falling. This was not a mere rendering issue. This was in the game. I started taking void damage. I wasn't that low. I think I only took like 2 or 3 ticks. But man. Let's see if it happens again. Yeah, no. I think it was a version-specific glitch, because it hasn't happened to me since. So here's the last thing I want to show you over in this region, is the required resources for the concrete aspects of the next stage of this build, which I've already started working towards, but, you know, out of time. Alright. So yeah, as you can see, all of these chests are for gravel, and all of these chests are for sand. Then all of these chests are for dye, according to their color. So, you know, white dye, including white glass, which is what I'm going to make the floor, on top of the floor. Black dye, red dye, yellow dye, green dye, blue dye, or use some of it. I need 18 shulkers of concrete for every single wall, 40 shulkers for the floor, and 40 shulkers for the ceiling, And then I need another 40 shulkers of glass for the floor. So altogether, that's what 80 plus 18. What's calculator? 18 times 4 plus 8, 152. I need 152 shulkers times 1728. That 262,000 concrete. So yeah, I need a lot. I'm drinking green tea with a little bit of lime juice. Good. I'm also a little sick, so hopefully it makes me feel better. Makes my throat less sore. But also, one thing that is of note, I am coming very close to 1,000 days played on just this project. At 2332, I started on 1350, so I have about 18 days to go. Cool. So yeah, here my plan is to do like one wall. I'll have like matching colors as opposites. So I'll do like blue, green, red, yellow. Those aren't matching colors. Fuck, wait, no. Red, green, blue, yellow, and then like white and black, or white for the floor, because I feel like the black floor is just begging to slam into it at a million miles an hour. So I'm gonna do all of that, like that, and then in the center here, I'll build a wither skeleton farm. Let's cut to yet another montage where I will finish this project, place all of these concrete walls, and build a wither skeleton farm. I'll see you on the other side.
Oh my god, we are done.
This is an enormous build. Like, genuinely, it is by far the largest build I've ever completed. For a sense of the time scale, it is day 2,700, and I started the start of the world, on day 1,350, which means that I have played exactly half of the days in this world on this build. That is insane. That is a silly amount of time. I just crossed over the 30-day mark of time played. I'm gonna go right down here, and I'm gonna sort of try to show stuff off in chronological order, but also in a way that makes sense for me to get to different places. First, I want to talk about the gravel and sand that I needed for this build. There are minecarts over here from other events that transpired. Oh, there's a lot of minecarts. Hey, that's like louder than me. What the fuck? For the sand, it was relatively simple. I just have an area of the desert that I go to harvest all of my sand. But for the gravel, I had a few gravelly hills. But eventually those proved insufficient, and I started mining in the, just like the stony shores and stuff, which are significantly better for gravel just because they're easier to find, even though they don't generate nearly, or they don't have nearly as much gravel. But I would literally go around with all of the shulkers I needed to fill and just go to various gravelly spots in stony shores, and then I would mine them up until they were out, and then I'd go to another one, and then repeat until I had like 120,000 gravel. Next, I want to talk about this roof and how I did it wrong. So this roof, I built as the last part of the concrete cube. I should have built it way at the start of this project. I should have built it once I had mined out these 3 top layers, before I had done any TNT duping, any bombing, any clearing, really. I did not do that because I didn't want to set up all of the concrete stuff at that point. But it ended up costing me a lot of time later. Much more difficult to do without the existing netherrack floor. Anyway, so next thing. These walls, I honestly expected it would take several days. It took 1 afternoon to place all of these walls, just because I was using the same method I used for building the sand cube, which is rebinding your right click to a different key and then just building up 3 blocks and looking down. I don't have any blocks to demonstrate that. I'm sure I have some. I don't. So next, let's address the elephant in the room, which is this farm. So the first thing I built was this killing chamber, which is relatively simple. That's not true. Why did I say it's simple? It's not simple at all. I mean, it's probably simple for like the crazy redstone people, but it's not simple to me. So all of this design is by Strom. It's completely his farm. It'll be linked in the description. It makes, I haven't tested the rates yet, exactly, but it makes something like, per his numbers, 1,800 skulls an hour, whereas everything else is in like the low hundreds. It's absurd. I think mine makes a bit less than that because of some issues I'll get to later, but it's wild. Essentially, the way the farm works is by cycling minecarts through. So a minecart will get spat out, say, let's look at the blue track. I don't normally color code my tracks and stuff, which I probably should do, but it's not worth it to me because I usually don't make builds that complex. But for here, I did it just because I had all the concrete colors on hand, and that's what the tutorial called for. So it just goes, it's fundamentally not too dissimilar to a regular wither skeleton farm, other than that there are just multiple spawning platforms, and then minecarts go and they pick them up. So they go along here. They're on honey blocks so as to not let them jump and avoid getting picked up by the minecarts, which is a nice touch, but it did had a big bottleneck in my building of this farm. And then they get funneled, so they get funneled into here, and then they get kicked off the minecart here, and then they go into one of these killing points where I can slash at them with this sword using sweeping edge. And then they get funneled into there. The shulker, or the minecart they're in, gets picked up, recycled, and spat out down there in this case. So that's just how it works. I mean, it's relatively simple conceptually. It's just very complicated when it comes to actually building it. I should say I actually didn't utilize nearly as much of the spawning space as I wanted to. There's, you know, these 2 double crossroads which I made sure to use and that, but there are a bunch of hallways and stuff that I could have gotten some spawns from, but I don't really need to. Partially because I feel that it would have overwhelmed some of the minecart lines, but also partially just because I don't really need that much. Like, I wanted to, because I was already doing such a big project, I just wanted to go completely fucking crazy with it and just build the biggest thing I possibly could. But I don't need max rates out of it, and I think if I ever do need more coal or wither skeleton skulls or whatever, I can just build more spawning platforms. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so I have something like 5,000 to 6,000, which is what the tutorial recommends, but I think that's probably a little low, if anything. And a lot of that is coming from these 2 double crossroads. So I'm going to turn off a bunch of my audio settings. All of those probably do good. And I'm going to show you how to use this farm, which is very simple. You click it on there, which sends minecarts out every which way. And you wait for them to start pouring in. And you just swipe. As you can see, a lot of the minecarts go unfilled, especially out of blue and yellow, which is weird because red is almost always consistent, but yellow is not as consistent. I suspect that's because I'm close enough to yellow that it's blocking out some of the lower spawning spaces and not allowing the full rates. Green is also kind of dead, but I kind of expected that because it's a little fucky with the spawn perimeter. But it does still bring some in, so I can't complain too much. It's just, again, not max, but I don't need it to be max. So yeah, this is really all there is to the farm. It also makes quite a lot of XP. I don't believe it's as good as the Guardian farm, so that's a pretty tall task, because it's, as far as I know, like, one of the best XP farms you can possibly make. And let's get moving, because, believe it or not, well, I did spend a lot of time on this build. I also spent a lot of time elsewhere, and I will show you that. So the first thing I want to show, which I actually had a little bit of drama with building it, was a gold which is it's a gold farm by ENXO4, which I will show you in just a second. This is wildly efficient for how easy it was to build, and makes something like 300 gold blocks an hour, I believe. Which, so the farm I was considering building was by Nemvon, and that was not nearly as good, actually, even though it's so much larger of a thing. But yeah, there's basically just a spawning platform down there. Spawns them all in, they go through the overworld, get pushed into here, and I kill them. But yeah, this is genuinely a great farm, and I like it. I'm glad to have it. I will not be building a better gold farm because there really isn't one. So my next thing is at spawn, which is actually looking a lot different than it was before. So I have dug out, it's not super noticeable, but I've dug out a significant portion up here. And I'd say the most noticeable thing I've done is I have built a farm, which is honestly, I love it. It's so simple, but I find it very pleasant. It's got a little item sorter for seeds and wheat. It's like, it's not the most, like, efficient. It's completely manual replanting. It's just, but I have it all hooked up to one lever, which is awesome. Yeah. And then it all gets funneled down to the sorter and gets sent to my chests. I haven't used it too many times, as you can see. But I did actually just genuinely like working on this. It was a fun little side project. It wasn't too relevant, I just felt like building a wheat farm. And that was one of the few times where a build wasn't really directly in service to the Wither Skeleton farm. It also does struggle a little bit with the items, but I don't think it takes long enough for them to despawn. Oh, it might, actually. That might be an issue. Well, I'll address it later. So this chicken farm is the fucking bane of my existence. It is the worst farm I have ever built. It is only working because I fixed it myself because I'm a responsible adult. I hate this thing so much. So the stupid bastard that made this farm put compatible with 1.21.5 in the title. You know the small problem? I built this farm in 1.21.5 and it didn't fucking work. So originally, it was built to use lava, which would be right above those chickens' heads, and they would move into it as they hatch. But now the eggs knock them into the lava when they're babies, so they don't drop anything. So the farm doesn't work. It doesn't produce what I need it to, which is chicken. And it is producing now because I set it to just be blocks that they grow up into, and then it funnels into a furnace, which is not as satisfactory. Um, uh, fuck who made this farm. And speaking of rage, fuck mini HUD. I hate that shit so much. I needed it to view the bounding box of the fortress. And also, by the way, fuck Lightmatica, but to a lesser extent, because I have grievances with them, but they're less extreme and more personal. Yeah, mini HUD, it does what it says. But the thing that makes it the worst mod I've ever used is that it fucking destroyed my performance. Multiple times, my game crashed while I was saving, and I thought I was about to, like, corrupt my entire world. It was terrifying. And I'm never using mini HUD again until I have to. So, actually, for the progress on this perimeter, which you see right here, that was all because of this honey farm, which is by Shulkercraft. But yeah, it produces decently. It's just, I also did it dumb. I did it in the overworld when you're definitely supposed to build them in the Nether or the End, because in the Nether and the End, bees don't sleep, but they sleep in the overworld. So I was just in here because I wanted to be able to pass the night. So I just decided to dig and build farms and do whatever I needed to do. That chicken farm also was one of those projects. It really wasn't in service to anything. It was just nice. Um, I had a lot of free time. There's also this concrete machine which I did not build during that grind. Um, this is straightforward. It's a concrete machine. It is by Shulkercraft 2, I believe. So I have in my notes. Next up is just Iron Farm broke. Yeah, it broke. Iron Farm broke. It doesn't work right now. I have no idea why. I'm probably just gonna build a new one. This farm has had a lot of issues, which is weird because it's fundamentally relatively unchanged mechanics to my understanding. But yeah, it just doesn't produce anymore. I don't know why. I have some iron reserves, but they are running low. I also have like another full shulker of iron in my ender chest. Full shulker of iron blocks, that is. Yeah, this farm, I'm just gonna build a new one, which I'll probably do next episode. The next project, not even really a project, but the next video is going to be the backburn, which is where I'm just gonna go and do a bunch of little things that I've meant to do for a long time, but I haven't done. First and foremost is gonna be finishing the spawn perimeter. I'm going to completely dig it down to 60 feet. But there's also going to be stuff here. There's going to be stuff at the city. There's going to be stuff at the end. There's going to be a lot of little bits and bobs I need to get done. And speaking of, I think just probably between even this episode and next episode, I'm just going to have to clean up from, like, I still have, like, shit from the end project in my, just, like, hanging around. Like, I don't need it. I've got to build a proper storage system at some point. Which might actually be next episode. Yeah, that's just one of the many plans I have. So I actually want to let you in on a little bit of my plans for the next couple episodes. So episode 9 is the Nether perimeter, which is what you're watching right now, which I've just finished. Episode 10, which I just said, is going to be the back burner. Episode 11 is going to be a world tour, which is a world tour. Show off everything I've done up to that point, which is sort of what the back burner is. It's just getting the world, in shape. Also, sorry that the sky is broken. I don't know what's causing it. That'll probably be coming. I don't know exactly how long the next episode is going to take. I think it's probably going to be, like, honestly, it might be nearly 1,000 days, honestly. It's going to be a lot of random little things. But there are going to be a couple big projects mixed in there, which are going to take a while. Then episode 12 is a build I'm not going to announce yet because I think it's really cool, but kind of like it's kind of nerdy. Like it's kind of dumb. And I'm really excited for it, but I want to wait to announce it then. And then episode 13 is going to be the city part 2, which is where I'm going to build the other city on the side of the path over there. So I'm going to look forward to getting those all done over the course of the next year, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. But yeah, that is actually just about the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be back whenever I'm back.